afternoon, everyone. Welcome to SoEdu and Migrations Online Marathon Seminar. So today is SA Day, South Australia State Nomination and Torrens University Seminar. My name is Tin and I'm the Manager and Registered Migration Agent from SoEdu and Migration. Today we have two speakers. One is Lydia Liu, my colleague, who is also a registered migration agent. So Lydia will talk the first part for the SA state nomination for this financial year, followed up with a Q&A section for migration policy. And then we will pass it to Matthew White, Senior Manager, International Recruitment from Torrens University. And if you have any question about Torrens University, you can ask him in the Q&A section after his presentation. So just want to do a quick testing if everyone can hear to my voice clearly. If yes, please type 1 in the checkbox. Cool. Thank you. And then before we start, I would like to do a quick poll questions. What did Adelaide rank in the world's most livable city ranking in 2021? Whoop, whoop. Very even results. Okay, I will end the poll and share the results. Yes, so actually Adelaide ranked number 3 in the world for the most livable city in this year's ranking, but it is ranked number 1 in Australia. So hopefully you will know more about Adelaide and South Australia after today's seminar. And during our presentation, if you have any question about SA state nomination policies or Torrens University programs, you can feel free to type in the checkbox and then we will answer all the questions in the Q&A section. Now I will pass it to Lydia. Hello, Lydia.
Hi. So anyone can hear me properly?
Yes, we can hear you. So probably you can share your screen.
Yeah. So can anyone see my PowerPoint from the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much.
I will leave it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you much for the team. And today I would like to talk about the SA state nomination. So my name is Lydia. I'm from SoEdu and Migration. I'm a registered migration agent. So today I will give an introduction about the South Australia the state nomination. So for the content we are going through today, the first one is why we choose SA for study and living. And the second one is the overview for the state nomination requirement. And the third one is the specific criteria for 190 and 491 visa. And at the end of the PowerPoint, I will give you some tips of how to get the state nomination as soon as possible. And I will also answer some questions from the attendance about the state nomination. And we'll also have Matt from Torrens University. He will introduce the university about the course and details. And he will also give a Q&A section at the end of his PowerPoint. And so why we would like to choose South Australia for studying or living? Because South Australia has the largest number of quota. So it is the total over 5,000 for both 190 visa and the 491 visa. The total is over 5,000. And if you study in South Australia, the whole state is a regional area, so you can get extra 5 points for your EOI. And if you study there, you can have the second time of your 485 visa, so you can get it extended for up to 2 years. And South Australia has a wide range of occupation list. And if you are South Australia graduate with a high GPA, you do not need to have a work experience compared to other states. So this one is very popular for South Australia graduate. And for the quota, as I mentioned before, so as we can see from the slide, South Australia has the same number for 190 visa and 491. Both of them have 2,600 number. And so total will up to 5,600. So except New South Wales and Victoria, I think South Australia has the largest quota number among all the states. And they also have quite large number, 1,000 for the business visa as well. So if you consider to study in a state, except New South Wales and Victoria, they might be a little bit competitive. South Australia also is the best option for you because they have a large number and they are quite a big state. And they have lots of famous university like Torrens in Adelaide. So you can choose whatever course you want in there. And for like others, South Australia state nomination have several steps, so total 5 steps. So in the first step, you have to have a positive full skill assessment for your nominated occupation, and you have to achieve at least 60 points for 190 visa, because you can get extra 5 points for 190, and you have to obtain 50 points for 491 visa, because you can get extra 15 points for 491. So you have to have 60 points, including the state nomination, to lodge an EOI. Once you submit a EOI through Skill Select, which is a system used by the department, you also need to submit an ROI for certain streams. So this is a little bit different from other state nomination, because South Australia requires you to lodge extra, like a separate application for ROI, but it's only required for certain streams. So they required for employment and small business and independent talent streams. So you only need to lodge ROI for 3 streams listed in here in the red. And also after you submit EOI and ROI, you will get an initial invitation from SA government, and you will pay the fee. And if the SA government approved your application and review your documents, they will invite you, and it's an official invitation. So you will have approval from state nomination, and you can use the link the government sent to you, and you can lodge your visa. So basically, so compared to other states, South Australia has one more step for submitting ROI, but the fee for ROI, but the fee for ROI is free, and for the state nomination fee is $336 for both of 190 and the 491 visa. But the ROI fee is free, as I said before, so it's all right to submit an ROI if you think you have met the requirement. And for the common requirements to apply for the state nomination, so you must have your EOI and ROI selected. So you have to have both of the ROI and the EOI selected. So just be careful, you have to have the both selected. And if you have to under 45 years of age, and you have to achieve at least competent English, which is L6, and you have to have a valid skill assessment, and you have to achieve at least 65 points to be selected. And if you currently not residing in South Australia, you can still apply, but you can only apply through the talent and innovator employment streams. And I will talk about the stream later in the slide. So this is a fee for the South Australia. So as I mentioned before, The ROI fee is 0, and the state nomination fee are same, so $336. So when you need to pay the fee, when you lodge your EOI and ROI, you will receive initial invitation. When you receive the initial invitation, you will be asked to do a state nomination through their portal, and you will need to pay during that stage. And after you paid, you will be likely to receive an official invitation from them. So I think SA has the most complicated criteria and requirements among all the states in Australia. As you can see from the slides, there are three major streams. One is for the Talent and Innovator Program. So this one is the biggest one. Under this stream, they have 5 small streams as well. So the first one is for the employment. If you are a highly skilled migrant who are working for South Australia business, you are available to apply for this stream. And also the second one is Outer Regional South Australia Workforce Stream. So this one is for if you are working for Outer Regional South Australia business. So Outer Regional South Australia means if you are working outside Adelaide, can be defined as the Outer Regional South Australia. And the next one is Startup and Small Business Stream. So this is like SBO, so Small Business Stream. And this is for migrants who want to start their own business or want to have a share with a new business, and they can apply for this stream as well. And the most popular one, I think, is the fourth one, the High Performing Graduate Stream. This one is for who completed their qualification at South Australia and have achieved a high GPA. And I will explain that later more in the PowerPoint. And the last one is Independent Talent Stream. This one is for basically if you have a high points of EOI, you can apply for this stream. The second big stream is currently working in South Australia. So there are 3 small streams as well. The first one is currently living and working in South Australia. So this one including the whole states, including the Adelaide as well. And the second one is living and working in regional South Australia. So regional South Australia is any place besides Adelaide. And the third one is living and working in South Australia as a long-term resident. And the last biggest stream is the international graduate of South Australia. And I will talk about the specific requirement for each stream in the next slide. So I will start from the most popular stream, and we have received lots of inquiries about if I studied in SA, what benefits can I have? So if you want to move to Adelaide or to regional SA, you have completed a relevant bachelor or higher qualification in SA in the last 2 years, and at least 50% of your qualification must complete in SA, and the qualification must be in your nominated occupation. So this is means the relevant bachelor. So the relevant bachelor means if you complete your qualification like Bachelor of Accounting, and your qualification has your occupation is an accountant as well. So your qualification has to be relevant to your occupation. So if your occupation is accountant, your qualification has to be commerce or related to accountant. You can't, if you are engineer, but you studied in accountant in SA for 2 years for a bachelor, so you can't apply for this stream. This stream has to be the qualification and the occupation has to be related. And it also asks you to currently living in SA, and you have to achieve at least proficient English, which is IELTS 7 or PTE 65. And if your qualification is in health or natural or physical science, your application will be prioritized. So you will be more likely to receive the invitation than others. And so if you are thinking about choosing a major or choosing a course in SA, you maybe can choose from the prioritized course like health, natural, or physical science, which will help you to get the invitation quicker. And if you complete a PhD, there is no GPA requirements. So basically, you will, after you complete your PhD, you will get an invitation immediately. And if you complete a master degree, it has to be over 78 weeks, so about 1.5 years. And they require you to have GPA above 6 out of 7. If the qualification you complete in SA is a bachelor or bachelor honor, the course has to be at least 92 weeks, which is about 2 years, and the GPA has to be 6 out of 7. And besides the GPA, some students also will ask me if I didn't achieve a GPA like 6 or above 6, can I still apply for this stream? So if you have a very outstanding English result like IELTS 8 or PTE 79, you may still apply this stream as well, even you don't have a high GPA like 6 out of 7. And for the normal GPA requirements for most of the occupation is 6 out of 7, but there are some occupation which is quite popular migration occupation like nurse, engineer, and IT. They all have a lower GPA requirement, which only requires you to have GPA 5 out of 7. So if you want to check for your occupations requirement, you can refer to their occupation list. So this one is currently is the most popular stream for SA because you can receive lots of benefits from that, because you can only need to have a high GPA, and you don't have to have a work experience for this stream. And if you have the GPA and you meet other requirements, you submit an ROI or you submit an EOI, they pretty much invite you very fast. They will give you an initial invitation only within a couple of days or only in 1 week. So this stream is pretty fast than others. And for the second popular one, it's called Independent Talents. So basically, this one still requires you to live in South Australia, and you have to achieve at least 95 points for your EOI. So for 95 points, this is quite high compared to other streams, because normally the pass points for the EOI is only 65 points. But for eligible to apply this stream, you have to achieve 95 points. But still, if you didn't achieve the points like 95, you only have 90 or 85, you still can try, because they may consider your case in exceptional circumstances. And you have to have a proficient plus English levels. Proficient plus English level is IELTS 7.5 or PTE 73. And also the policy for the SA is quite flexible. If you didn't achieve the high English, we can still encourage you to submit an ROI, and they may still consider you if you have exceptional circumstances. And if you have considerable relevant work experience in your nominated occupation, but this one is not like a mandatory requirement. If you have relevant work experience, it's fine. But if you don't have it, it's still okay. You can still try. So I think basically for the SA state nomination, because they have so many quota, and so they have the a requirement not strict than others, and even you don't meet all the requirements, they still encourage you to submit ROI, because they will analyze your cases case by case. So I just suggest you, we can always try to get a invitation. And so for the third one is startup and small business stream. So this one is for the small business. Business must be established in SA and operating for the last 12 months. And you can be self-employed, and you can be a subcontractor as well. But you have to live in South Australia for 24 months, which is 2 years. And you have at least the annual income for 53,900 for the annual income. You have to have the income. And if your business is in the growth state industry, and your application will be prioritized, like tourism, international education, food, wine, and agriculture business. But if your business is not in the growth state industry, you can still apply, but they prefer to process the business like tourism and international education. And you have to have employee at least 2 full-time employees other than the applicant. So you have to have another 2 full-time employees. And they do not have to be Australian permanent resident or citizen. They can be any legal visa holders. They can be student or any others. And the franchise business is not available, and you cannot use a franchise business to apply this stream, but you can have your own business, or you can join the share and to be the partner of other business as well. And for this stream, for the small business stream, this one is quite new. I think they only opened for this one for early this year. So there is no one can satisfy this requirement yet, but we will see some new cases coming up in the future, I believe. And besides the independent stream, the second biggest one is currently working in SA. And if you are working in South Australia in your nominated occupation, for 190 visa, you have to work for at least 12 months in your nominated occupation. And if you are working at only for 6 months, you can be applied for a 491 visa. And if you only worked less than 35 hours per week, you maybe only be offered for 491 visa as well. And for the second one, if you are living in regional South Australia, so regional South Australia means any place besides Adelaide, and you are not working in your nominated occupation. So for 190 visa, you have to living and working in regional SA for the last 24 months, for 2 years. And if it's 491 visa, you have to living and working in regional SA for last 1 year. And if you already been in South Australia as a long-term resident, but not working in nominated occupation, you can still apply, because there are exemptions for long-term residents. If you are international graduates and a partner of South Australia, you're only eligible to apply for 491 visa, which is a temporary visa. Only 190 visa only will be available if your annual income has achieved 80,000 annually, and you're working full-time in highly skilled position. You will be offered for 190. And you have to reside continuous in SA for the last 3 years. And you're currently working in SA for the last 12 months in a skilled occupation. So this one does not need to be in your nominated occupation, but it has to be a skilled occupation. So skilled occupation means including a skill level 1, 2, 3 occupations, and skill level 4 care and occupation are also included. And you have to work at least 20 hours per week. If you're working like in a lower skilled occupation such as cleaner, drivers, kitchen hand, are not eligible to apply because you have to work in a high skilled. And applicants working as a massage therapist must be working in hospital, aged, or disability care setting, or allied healthcare settings such as physio clinic. So there's some requirements for certain occupation, like a massage therapist. But other occupation, as long as you are working in skill level 1, 2, 3, and 4, you can apply for this stream. And for the second exemption, if you are not a graduate of South Australia, you're holding other temporary visa holder like 408 or 485 visa holder, you're only eligible to apply for 491 visa, and you have to resided continuous in SA for the last 5 years. So compared to the first, the one before, this one requires you to have 5 years living requirement. And other requirements are the same with the international graduate one. And there are also another stream for the safe haven visa holders. This one is probably not popular as the previous two, so you can check the requirement later on. And so for the last stream is an international graduate for SA. So you have to complete a bachelor degree or higher qualification in South Australia, and you have to currently working in your nominated occupation for the last 3 months. And some occupations have longer work experience requirements, so you may refer to their occupation list. They will state how long work experience required for your nominated occupation. But for this stream, it's pretty easy because they do not require you to study a relevant bachelor degree, and only requires you to have 3 months work experience. And another good news for South Australia is they are opening offshore stream, and they just opened from 28th of September this year. But the requirement for the offshore is pretty tough. They have 70 occupations on the list, like human resource advisor, customer service manager, and marketing specialist. But they all require you to have at least 8 years relevant work experience. So this is quite a lot work experience for offshore applicant, and you have to have a proficient plus English, which is IELTS 7.5 or PTE 73. So I think for the offshore applicant, if you are having many years of working experience and your English is quite good, you can try, because they only open in September. So I think they still have lots of space for the offshore application. And I will give you some tips of how to get the state nomination from South Australia as soon as possible. So if you cannot meet all the requirements, but you still have like an outstanding English results, so if you're having IELTS 75 or IELTS 8, you can still try. Even you do not have work experience or high GPA or high points, you can still always try. Or if you do not have, if you have a work experience, like in your nominated occupation, you can always try as well. And to be more competitive, you can try to achieve a higher English test result. As I said before, if you have a higher English score, you have a higher chance to be invited by them. And you can try to find a job related to your nominated occupation, or you can try to find a job in regional South Australia, so besides Adelaide. And we also have some recommendations if you decided to study in South Australia. You can study for the course related to IT or engineering, nursing and midwife, and teaching and cookery. But as I said before, completing the course does not guarantee you will be successful in accepting a state nomination. You still need to meet the requirements by the South Australia. So why we choose us for as your education agent and migration agent? We have many teams from different countries, so we can speak your language. Our team are from all over the world, like we can speak Mandarin, Cantonese, Korean, Japanese, and Vietnam, and Thai, Spanish, and Hindi and English. So we can have a better understanding of your cultural background, and we can assist you in your ways. And so at the final stage, I would like to take some question from the chat box. So I can answer, you can type your question in the chat box so I can answer you.
Thank you, Lydia. So we have received quite a lot of questions in the chat box. So we have the first question here. My occupation is on the list. Can I apply to visa 190 or 491 after finishing working the 6 months requirements while I'm in a student visa? Or I have to complete my student visa first?
So if you are a student visa, I think you have the work limitation. So you may only have to can only to work 40 hours in 2 weeks. So basically you are not working full time in your occupation. So if you are not working full time, you may be eligible to apply for 491 visa, because normally SA requires you to work full time. So full time means 30 hours per week for 190 visa. And if your occupation requires you to have work experience related to your occupation, so you need to complete your study first, and your work experience can be calculated after you complete your study.
Okay. Yes, and we do have some questions here. So we have one question regarding to accounting working experience. So this client asking, can my accounting work experience during the time I hold my student visa in SA counts towards any of the above stream you mentioned in South Australia? I think it's pretty similar to the question that we just raised. So 20 hours per week. So working as an accountant, but under the student visa.
Yeah, so if you are working 20 hours a week, you can, accountant is on the list, yeah, but you may be only eligible to apply for 491 visa. If you are not, also if you are not a graduate from South Australia, you can apply for the currently working in South Australia.
Yeah, but I think we do need to remind that you must have the skill assessment approved for your nominated occupation before you can apply for the state nomination. So this is the one of the basic requirements for every state and territory in Australia to have a positive skill assessment for your nominated occupation. All right. So we got 491 South Australia graduate stream. My course in South Australia is going to be Master of Business Analytics, but my nominated occupation is accountant. Is it okay whether the nominated occupation is different from the course to be completed in South Australia?
So as I explained before, so there is only one stream, is a high performing graduate stream, so high GPA. This is the only stream in South Australia requires you to have the study related to your nominated occupation. So besides this one, you can apply for other stream if you meet the requirements there.
Yeah. And we have another question here in the chat box. If I finish a diploma of community service or diploma of nursing from South Australia, can I apply for subclass 190 at SA?
It depends on the stream you're applying for. If you complete a study, but you have to have your occupation and you have to pass the skill assessment first. After you pass your skill assessment, we will see which stream you suit for, which depends on also depends on your work experience.
Yeah, and I just want to mention community worker is on the SA list. So you can consider to nominate as a community worker if you are interested to study the diploma of community service. And do you think the government will change occupation list in the next 5 years? Okay, probably I can answer this question. So actually the government will change the occupation according to their demand every year. So we can't guarantee like the occupation list on this year will be the same for next year. So it's quite common that the state government and even the federal government will change the occupation list yearly based on the demand. Yes. So another question. Hi, my master degree is marketing. Can I apply for visa 190?
So based on your marketing degree master, you can apply as a marketing specialist, but you have to pass a skill assessment. I think it's 1 year work experience required for to pass a skill assessment. Once you pass the skill assessment, you can and you need to satisfy the criteria for the stream, and you can apply for 190 visa.
Okay, yeah. So probably we will get the last 3 questions before we pass it to Matt. So regarding visa 491, South Australia graduate stream again, how can I satisfy the requirements of continuously living in South Australia post-course completion, since I can't extend my stay after I complete my course in SA, because this student already used his or her 485 visa before.
So if you have used your 485 visa, so basically if you want to find a full-time work right visa, you probably can go for an employment sponsor stream visa, or you can go for 408 visa. So if you can get a full-time work right visa, you can apply for 190. But if you cannot, you probably can apply for another student visa. You can work part-time. You may be eligible to apply for 491 visa as well.
Okay. And last question. I did diploma in mechanical engineering back in my country. Can I get skill assessment done here and apply for any subclass? Or I need to get some experience in relevant field? So yes, Lydia, you can take the question.
Yeah, so if you are doing mechanical engineering, so you basically your occupation will be a mechanical engineer. So based on the requirement in Australia, you need to have at least bachelor degree for as a mechanical engineer. So if you consider to migrate as a mechanical engineer, you may need to study at least a bachelor degree, and you can pass the skill assessment easily.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Lydia. So Lydia and I will still answer questions in the chat box if you still have any question related to state migration in South Australia. So now let's welcome Matt from Torrens University. So Matt is the senior manager for international recruitment from Torrens University. So Matt will talk about the popular programs and scholarship availability for international students today. So welcome, Matt.
Cheers, thank you very much. I can't start my video.
Okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, I think you can try again.
There we go.
Yes.
Hey guys.
Yes. Thank you, Matt.
Fantastic. That was very informative. That was, yeah, a really good summary. And you know, we worked with Sol Edu for a long time. If you are considering looking at your eligibility or considering applying for Torrens or any university, I highly recommend you get in touch with the team at Sol. They're very informative and they know what they're doing. So that was fantastic. Thank you, guys. So I'm here to talk about Torrens University, more importantly, Torrens University, Adelaide. So Torrens University is one of Australia's newest universities. We've been around for 7 years. Our main campus is in South Australia, in Adelaide, but we also have campuses in Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney, in Shenzhen, in China, and Africa. We have a study hub as well, and New Zealand. So we're a bit of a global university, but everything started from South Australia and Adelaide. So being a newer university, we want to make sure that we wanted to do something a little bit different and really understand what our students need and be able to develop courses which have the outcomes that you want. So why do people study? Okay, there's migration, there's defined work, there's the information. So we want to make sure that we consult with industry for every course we develop. We want to make sure that our units are relevant, that the work placement is relevant to help students with their journey and really create a program for each individual. So Torrens universities now have over 300 high quality courses. We have a global network of students. We also have universities associated in the United States. We have industry placements with some of Australia's most influential brands. Every single undergraduate program has a work placement or an internship. We also want to treat students like individuals by assigning every single student a success coach who comes to Torrens. A success coach is someone who's going to meet with you, an industry professional, and they're going to talk to you from your very first day all the way to once you've graduated, and even after you've graduated, provide support. This will be with choosing the right subjects. This will be helping with assessments. This will be helping with industry placements, helping with resume building, helping with networking events. So we want to make sure that every single student is treated with the respect and individualism that they deserve. So Torrens University is particularly popular with international students. So we recruit students from over 118 countries, 6 different continents, and currently have 11,000 international students studying with Torrens. So that means we know what we're doing and know the support that our international community needs to be able to successfully complete the course and get the support they need. So we are also Australia's fastest growing university as well. And as mentioned, we're very focused on industry immersion. So in 2020, we actually started over 19,000 students. Our hospitality employment program has 95% employment rate, which is absolutely huge. 90% retention for international students. So typically what that means is our students who come to Torrens want to stay and want to graduate with Torrens. And with over 3,600 industry contacts to help our students with their placements. So it's quite relevant. We do have some very impressive rankings for a relatively new university as well. So currently ranked #1 in Australia for hospitality and leisure. We're in the top 10 best 3D motion graphic design schools in the world. Our New Zealand campus, which has Media Design School connected, has students who actually worked on The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and Avatar, some amazing projects. Top 10 animation schools in the world, 27th global MBA, value for money. So if you think about how many universities and colleges offering MBAs globally, that is absolutely massive. We've had International School of the Year for graphic design, #1 in hotel management as well. And in our Sydney campus, we also have a restaurant connected with our William Blue College as well. So I have voted one of the top 10 restaurants in Sydney. So I mentioned why study in Australia. So obviously the ability to work is quite popular. We have 5 out of the 30 best student cities, with Adelaide being ranked #3 in the world for 2020 as most livable city. As mentioned, we have campuses in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and Adelaide. So I think it was really important to hear Lydia talking about you must complete 2 years of your course in South Australia. So students who start at one campus can easily transfer to one of our other campuses. We start every intake at the same time, doesn't matter which location. So we do like to make it easy for students to transfer between locations as well. But let's talk about our Wakefield Adelaide campus. This is where we have our business, design, education, health, and hospitality courses. So it's located right in the heart of Adelaide, next to the Torrens River, with a very innovative and very immersive design. So I'm going to talk about some of our courses, not every course, which is very supportive for the skilled occupationalist, and it seems to be very popular for international students as well. So firstly, we're going to talk about business. So some of the career outcomes for our students. 95% of our graduates agreed that their job post completion matched with their skills and professional goals. So I think by every student having a success coach really makes sure the work placement is relevant to their career and goal outcomes. 82% of Torrens graduates felt they were totally prepared or prepared for the level and ability required for their job. 83% of Torrens graduates are satisfied with their current career journey. And probably the most important stat, on average, our graduates' average salary increased by 29% within 3 years of completion and 100% 5 years after completion. This is extremely relevant, especially myself. I'm studying the MBA at Torrens, so hopefully I get a pay rise. So as mentioned, we do have industry experience and built-in network programs for our students. We have a program called Careers Connect. Not only do we match people with work experience and placements, but also our business partners who advertise careers will send it to us and we can advertise potential jobs for our students as well. We obviously have pathways to our postgraduate business sector, gain qualifications that will prepare you for career management. And also we update our courses very regularly. So we want to make sure that we change content based on the current trends so that students can have the skills required to go straight into the workforce. So typically in marketing, career outcomes in marketing coordination and project management. In business, we do focus a lot on data analysis in our programs. In accounting, we do have CPA accreditation. Business information systems, I saw a question about the business information programs, and this is an incredibly popular a very popular program for international students. We also have project management in our postgraduate and business administration as well. So in our business sector, we have over 400 industry contacts all around Australia. So again, our students will get work placement for every undergraduate program. And if you're doing a postgraduate, it's not mandatory part of the course, but we can help facilitate that as well. So I'm going to talk quickly about some of the structure of our popular programs. So we do have a Bachelor of Commerce, which has multiple specializations in accounting, finance, or a dual specialization in both programs. Now, we don't work in traditional semesters. We like to work in trimesters. Every trimester is 12 weeks long with a 3-week holiday in between and then a bit of a longer break over Christmas. So in students' first trimester, they would typically start with 3 subjects. But in the second and third trimester, students will either do 2 or 3 subjects. They'll be based on your schedule as well. So we are quite flexible in letting you choose your subjects as long as you complete 8 subjects every 3 trimesters. In the final year of this program is industry placement. So where you will be placed inside an accounting firm, working as an accountant as part of that. Now, of course, that's volunteer work. Some placements do pay, but most are volunteer. But of course, this is extremely relevant and is also a subject, so it must be completed for the course. The Bachelor of Business Information Systems, again, a 3-year program with a trimester system. And again, an industry placement of 120 hours for this particular program as well. the MBA. So again, we want to make sure that we offer a flexible program. So students have different needs and a lot of things can happen. So as you might see on the presentation, there's actually 4 different qualifications embedded into the program. So the first 4 subjects is a graduate certificate level. 8 subjects is a graduate diploma. 12 subjects is a master's, and 16 subjects is a master's advanced. Now, Lydia was talking earlier about making sure your course is a certain amount of weeks, and this is where the master's advanced comes in to make sure that we meet those requirements. So if students complete the first 4 subjects, they already can reach a qualification of the graduate certificate. If they do 1 year, they'll have the graduate diploma. So what that means is, 2 years is a long time to study, so things happen. If people are required to leave the course early for any reason, you can still obtain a qualification. The Masters of Business Information System. Now, this program has 2 different qualifications embedded, which is the graduate diploma after the first 8 subjects. But the Masters is a total of 16 subjects. It's not a Master's Advanced, it's a Master's for the 16 subjects to meet those qualifications. And of course, this program has the correct qualifications required to help with a long-term migration goal as well. We have the Masters of Global Project Management. So again, multiple exit points as part of this course. And this is extremely popular for students maybe with an engineering background. But the way we approach this particular program is that we don't focus on a particular sector. We wanted to create a project management program that everyone can use. So whether you work in marketing, engineering, or IT, if this is something to enhance your skills, then this program allows you to look at costs, it allows you how to approach tasks, how to empower your staff, how to be empowered to successfully complete a project from start to finish. And finally, the Masters of Professional Accounting, which is an advanced program for 2 years, which has the CPA accreditation required. One of our newer programs is the Masters of Engineering Management. So this program does not have exit points as a requirement for the engineering management side of things, and it's a 16 subject course over 2 years. With all of our programs as well, going back to the individualism of everyone, sometimes you might want to work in public health, you might want to work in project management, but you also might want those business administration skills as well. So here's where you can mix 2 different masters together and make it 1 course. So these courses are still 16 subjects in total. They're still 2 years. It doesn't cost anymore. The scholarships are still the same for these programs. So students can actually embed subjects from 2 different programs, add them together. Now, this is not available for Master of Business Information Systems, Engineering Management, or Accounting. And the reason being is to make sure that we have the correct accreditation so that you can reach your goals. We have to leave those subjects as their own stream. For our other programs, we can actually embed 2 different courses together. So if we look at our design and creative technology, so again, Billy Blue College, which is our Faculty of Design, has been around for a long time. We do have new programs recently launched, particularly for international students in IT. And every undergraduate program, again, has a work integrated learning program. We also have a high employability rate across the design disciplines. With software engineering students, you can earn up to $94,000 yearly. So software engineering, IT, and AI is really these new sectors for Australia, which are paying quite well. So just to give you a bit of insight into the future of IT. So Australia's ICT industry values are now up to $100 billion, according to government data and the Job Outlook data. The number of software and application programming roles is going to increase by 18.4% by 2024, which is a significant increase in the workforce. So again, across all our different programs, we have communication graphics, interiors, digital media, branded fashion, overall design, but I'm really going to focus on programming, artificial intelligence, and our gaming program as well, because it's actually a software engineering course with a focus on gaming. Some of our industry partners you might recognize there is IBM, Marie Claire, 7 News, ABC, and Sony PlayStation as well. So we actually have our software engineering course where students will get to work on a project with Sony PlayStation in the final year of the program as well, and actually release content on the PlayStation store, which is pretty cool. So if we look at a bachelor's degree in 3D design, animation, film, communication, UX, and web. UX, user experience and web, is one of those fast growing industries. We do have the diploma after the first year of the program, and then a bachelor after 3 years of the course. And again, this has industry placement. And after our design vertical graduation, we do have an exhibition where you get to display your work in front of employers who will come in and actually review students' work. Interior design, we offer both the residential and commercial stream, again with an industry placement. And even in 2019, we had the winner of the Design Institute of Australia's Regional and National Graduate of the Year Award. The software engineering. So this is in majors in game programming and artificial intelligence. So students will get to work on the Unity engine as part of this program. And this is where you actually make a commercially viable game for PlayStation as part of this, which of course you own the intellectual property for as well. So this is a perfect opportunity, one, to learn software engineering, to get experience and exposure with proper industry bodies. Like it's such an amazing program that you get to work 120 hours on a placement, plus also produce a commercially viable product as well. You can also take the opportunity to make double degrees. These are 4-year programs for students who want to learn multiple disciplines. You might want to learn software engineering, but might want to learn more about user experience or maybe web design to be able to create a bit of a higher skill set for yourself as well. We have a Masters of Software Engineering Management. So we have the 12 subject 1.5-year course, or 16 subject 2 years. And again, the 2-year program is very popular for international students to make sure they meet that requirement for their visa requirements. Master of Digital Transformation and Creative Intelligence, which is quite a new program for us. And again, there's 4 different embedded programs, embedded qualifications in this course as well. We have a brand new program as well under our design discipline, which will launch in February, which is the Masters of IT. So we spoke a little bit about the Masters of Business Information Systems. This is more data analysis. But now we also have the Masters IT for those who want to actually create the data, the APIs and so forth for this program. So depending on how tech savvy you are and where you want to get into, it does create a lot of different opportunities. And there are some common subjects between the 2 courses. So if a student starts one, they do have the flexibility to transfer to a different course by the time they graduate. Finally, health. So we're going to focus on postgraduate, our nursing and community services programs, which is very popular for students who want to study in Adelaide. So we do have our public health programs, our postgraduate, which is quite popular, especially during a pandemic as well, to look at different policies and how to be a policy advisor in both the private and the public sector as well. So in community services, we have our bachelor program. We also have health science, which covers clinical nutrition, myotherapy, and so forth. So again, it's hands-on learning. So every one of our health students gets to study in our health clinics. So we have clinics which are fully operating businesses where we have real clients come in to see our students. The health sector is Australia's fastest growing sector at the moment. So even in 2018, it produced $4.9 billion in revenue. The average salary for those going to the health profession is around $58,000 per annum. And employment in healthcare and social assistance sector grew by 5.1% from 2016-17 to 2017 and 18. It is expected about 1 in 10 jobs will be in the health sector moving forward. So there's a significant investment in Australia in the health sector, including the National Disability Insurance Scheme, which is quite massive. And there we are, the healthcare forecast has increased by 9.7% through to 2020. This was forecasted even before COVID. So as mentioned, industry placements. So for nursing, for every single program in undergraduate does have a work placement component. So not only do you get to practice in clinics, but you also get to practice with real industry outside of the school as well. Courses, opportunities for further study with our postgraduate programs. In term one, our retention rates were 89% or 88.3%, which is quite significant for the health area. So again, we know what we're doing with students. Students who come to Torrens like to stay in Torrens. And of course, career potential, which, as you mentioned, is the fastest growing sector for employment outcomes, and particularly in South Australia, there's significant federal and state government investment into these areas. Over 500 different industry contacts that students get to work with, including hospital and health services for nursing placements as well. Well, let's talk about our nursing program. So we do have a Bachelor of Nursing. And as you can see, there's clinical practice almost every single trimester. So in the first trimester, we don't offer placement because students still need to learn some skill sets and prepare themselves. But in trimesters 2, 3, 4, there's placement, and 6, 7, 8, and the final trimester as well. These placements can be metro, so in Adelaide itself, but we do have partners in further regional Queensland, South Australia. This is going to be quite important for you because, as Lydia mentioned, there is greater opportunities by looking outside of Adelaide and South Australia. So to make those networks and contacts whilst doing your placement could be very relevant for your long-term goals in Australia. But you'll meet with your success coach and your placement officer, and they'll talk to you about the type of things you might want to do, where you might want to do your placement. So we can treat you, again, like an individual and tailor to your needs. Bachelor of Health Science, so we offer multiple majors in this field, but the most popular one would be in clinical nutrition. So these are 3-year programs with a placement in the final trimester. For those who are looking at naturopathy, may not be so supportive for long-term goals. It is a 4-year program as well. So we also offer myotherapy, which is a 3-year program. As you can see, this actually has significant subjects. There's 36 subjects in this program in total. So what is very supportive of Lydia's seminar is our bachelor degree in community services. So again, there's the first year of the diploma program. In the final trimester, there is 120-hour placement as part of this program. Plus, as mentioned, we do have our clinic as well. So you will be working with real clients throughout the entire course as well. In postgraduate, we offer a Masters of Public Health. So again, it has exit points in a graduate certificate, graduate diploma, Masters and Masters Advanced. So 2-year course altogether. Or as mentioned, you can do a dual Masters with business or project management if that's more supportive for your individual needs. Master of Counselling is a relatively new program again, which has a 2-year duration, so students can meet the requirements that they need as well. But for those of you who might be offshore at the moment, we do have a lot of students who are commencing their studies offshore. We do have a special scholarship for students who start offshore, and they can start online and then transition to on-campus studies when borders do open and students can return to South Australia. So as mentioned, we do have a range of scholarships. So we do have a 20% scholarship for academic scholarship. We do have scholarships up to 35% for 2021 on all programs except for the Bachelor of Nursing. Torrens typically will offer a scholarship in every program except for the Bachelor of Nursing. The 2022 scholarships have not been announced yet. They will be in the coming weeks, but typically there's scholarships you can apply for, like the academic scholarship I mentioned of 20%, but there are some scholarships which are regional based. So a student can apply for a course and will automatically receive a scholarship for programs of up to 15% for all programs except for the Bachelor of Nursing. So if you are still considering commencing, you can commence from offshore. We do have an intake starting on November, and then our next intake will be in February. So for students who do want to commence from offshore, they can receive a 30% scholarship on their program for the offshore component and then receive their ongoing scholarship when they arrive in Australia. So that's just some of our courses. Again, we have over 300 courses. This is very supportive for Lydia and Tim's presentation earlier to help with that long-term process.
Thank you, Matt. So probably we can get some questions from the chat box. So the first one is about if Torrens is offering a graduate entry nursing degree.
As for postgraduate, sorry?
I think Eugene would like to ask whether Torrens is offering courses like Bachelor of Nursing graduate entry that can shorten the duration from 3 years to 2 years.
Yeah, so for those who are registered nurse offshore, you can receive the international registration pathway. So we do have a lot of students who have studied nursing from overseas before are registered and recognised, and that will typically provide 1 year credit into the Bachelor of Nursing program.
Yeah. Okay, so to summarize, if it is overseas registered nurse, then Torrens can assess the credit transfer, and normally it will be 1 year to shorten the program duration.
Correct. And those who might have completed a diploma of nursing onshore can also look at receiving 1 year's credit into that program as well.
Yeah. And can you explain more details in Masters in Counseling? What will be the entry requirements?
Sure can. So the Masters of Counselling requires an IELTS 6.5, no band less than 6.0. You do need to have a bachelor's degree in a relevant field of study or equivalent, or an Australian bachelor's degree or equivalent in a non-related field of study, but there's a work-life entry into this program. So it's basically a statement or an essay explaining why you want to study counselling, how it's going to help with your career goals, and this can also be taken into consideration for you to join this program as well. Any volunteer work or anything with community services is very helpful for that application.
Yeah. And probably Matt will need to explain again for the scholarship. We have received a question regarding scholarship. Do Torrens offer scholarship for all the courses? If yes, what will be the percentage?
So for 2021, we have a 15% scholarship on every course, except for the Bachelors of Nursing. It's the only course which does not have a scholarship attached to it. Except for those students who studied a Diploma of Nursing at Torrens can get a 30% alumni scholarship. So 15% across all courses. Academic scholarships of 20%. So for those with an academic excellence can apply for a 20% scholarship. Okay, and for those who are commencing their studies offshore, will receive a 30% scholarship. Again, on every program except for Bachelors of Nursing.
Yep. Oh, clear. Yep. And I think for the Master of Business Information System is one of the most popular programs at Torrens. So sometimes we receive questions from our students that within this program, will students be required to take some programming related courses, or it is more focused on business or information system related courses other than programming courses?
There's two subjects which are based around programming. These are very basic programming. So we don't expect you to have a programming background, but the idea is, if you want to look at Masters of IT, you create systems, you're a programmer. If you look at Master of Business Information Systems, you look at ways that you can utilize programs to be able to analyze data properly for a business, right? So when it looks at business, data is king, especially with systems analysis and data analysis. It's actually one of the highest paid degrees upon qualification is a business analyst.
Yes.
You need to be able to understand basic programming to be able to understand how to read that software. We don't expect you to be a programmer. We don't expect you to go in and do coding and create the APIs or the automated plugins with other bits of software like Power BI and so forth. What you're expected to be able to do is have knowledge of programming so you can understand how this is going to be able to create data for a business so you can analyze this properly. You do not need that background. There are two very basic subjects in programming because we're going to teach you this so that you can communicate with those in IT, be on the same language to be able to successfully work in this area.
Yeah, cool.
So this program does have ACS accreditation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, probably I can explain what is ACS. So ACS is Australian Computer Society, which is the skill assessment authority for all the IT related occupations. Just in case some of our attendees are not aware what ACS is. Yeah. And yes, we have some more questions in the checkbox. So does Torrens accept TOEFL IBT results?
yes, we do accept TOEFL. So when we say IELTS or equivalent.
Yeah.
So for certain courses, we have a placement test, depending on GTE. I'll let you guys explain that and other things. So we accept IELTS or equivalent. So yes, TOEFL, PTE, IELTS.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for those who are looking at a bachelor's program, and if you're in Australia, a diploma is equivalent to an IELTS 6.0, no band less than 5.5, which is generally the entry requirements for most bachelor programs.
Yeah. And what will be the minimum requirement score for master's, bachelor's, and diploma? I assume this attendee is asking about the GPA requirement.
The
GPA
requirements?
The GPA.
GPA.
Yeah, yeah.
We actually don't assess GPA requirements to enter into programs. So we understand things happen, and for every individual student, if you've successfully completed a program, you can join a master's.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. So yes, I think that's all the questions from the checkbox. If you have any attendee have further questions, just feel free to contact SolarEdge Migration. One of our professional education consultant will answer your question. If we can't answer the question, definitely we will forward Matt to get the correct information and pass it to our students. Yes, so thank you, Matt, again for attending today's seminar. So before we end the section, I just want to remind all the attendees, we still have one upcoming seminar on this Thursday. It will be Tasmania State Nomination Updates and the University of Tasmania presentation. So if you haven't registered yet, just scan the QR code to register and receive the Zoom link. We will see you all in this Thursday. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.